Hello, my name is Abebe, and I stand for justice, peace, and equality in Ethiopia. I am the founder of the Ethiopian Hearts for Peace initiative, which is committed to promoting unity, reconciliation, and future where Ethiopians can live free from Ethiopia ethnic and political divisions. My vision is one where the cycle of violence and suffering that has plagued our country for decades comes to an end, and all peoples of Ethiopia can thrive together in harmony. Today, I want to highlight the powerful narrative of Diakon Zemedkun, an activist whose vision closely aligned with mine. His message, shared in the YouTube link below, captures the essence of what we need: a break from the destructive patterns of the past and the beginning of a new era for Ethiopia, one where justice, peace, and equality take precedence. The video, delivered in Amharic, speaks directly to the deep-rooted issues facing Ethiopians today. It addresses the importance of accountability, the danger of ethnic domination, and the need for cross-ethnic alliances in building a future that honors every citizen's rights and humanity. Although the video is in Amharic, the message transcends language barriers and speaks to the heart of Ethiopian future. For many Ethiopians, Amharic has been a language excluded from formal education for decades, with the focus primarily on Afar and Oromos in Oromia and Tigrinya in Tigray region. As a result, many people might not have had the opportunity to fully access or understand vital messages that speak to the need for national healing and transformation. By airing this video in English, I hope to ensure that the message reaches a broader audience, both within Ethiopia and across the global Ethiopian diaspora, mainly the Oromos. Please join me in supporting Diakon Zemedkun's vision. Let's work together to bring the cycle of violence, ethnic division, and justice that have torn our country apart. With unity, empathy, and collective action, we can build the peaceful Ethiopia that we all deserve. Dear Zemedkun, your analysis is compelling and deeply insightful, particularly in addressing the precarious future of the Oromo people amidst Ethiopia's volatile political landscape. The cyclical nature of Ethiopia's political turmoil, where different ethnic groups find themselves targeted at different times, demands a proactive and thoughtful approach to break the cycle of violence, scapegoating, and division. We aired this narrative a month ago, but we don't have followers, so not much people have seen it. I'm glad you aired it in Amharic. Whether you have seen the video or didn't, it don't matter. The message is clear. The Oromo people, especially those outside the elite power structure, are at a critical juncture. The risk of being blamed collectively for the actions of the ruling party, PPP, much like previous ethnic groups have been blamed for the action of past regimes, is a real and imminent threat. You rightly pointed out that these could result in targeted reprisals and marginalization that would be devastating for the ordinary Oromo, who had no involvement in or support for the oppressive policies of the regime. The potential erosion of the Gada system, which was once a symbol of democratic values and inclusivity, underlines the importance of protecting the integrity of the traditional institution. The current political alignment, where radical elements may be given sanctuary while persecuting the Oromos, Orthodox Christianity, and the whole community, poses a serious challenge to both the future of the Oromo identity and Ethiopia's fragile unity. In terms of solutions, your call for dissident Oromos to speak out against the current regime is vital. The internal resistance is essential to avoid complicity and prevent future generations from inheriting a legacy of division and violence. Further, your suggestion to avoid collective blame is key to ensuring that Oromos are not unfairly targeted. Narrative control must be a priority now to protect the identity of ordinary Oromos and distinguish them from the actions of political elites. The notion of building cross-ethnic alliance is central to fostering unity and preventing further fragmentation. Unity based on shared values rather than ethnic affiliations can act as a safeguard against the escalating dangers of identity-based conflicts. Finally, the prevention of religious radicalization in Oromia is a significant factor. The balance between religious ideologies must be maintained, and it is essential to prevent any one ideology from gaining dominance over the others, as this could lead to further fragmentation and violence. What is happening in the universities, in Ethiopian Orthodox celebrations, and so forth, the prohibition of even wearing a traditional red, yellow, and green coverings of Ethiopian women and men is an indication of this erosion and oppression. Furthermore, from university to ordinary people's lives, oppression is happening to each and every Amharas, and that will be changing soon. Your questions about ethnic purges, the future of Gada, and the fragmentation of Ethiopia are profound and deserve immediate attention. The answers, as you said, depend on action today, on the wise and principled voices within the Oromo community and across Ethiopia, stepping up to shape the future. This is a critical moment for Ethiopia, and the decision made now will determine whether Ethiopia can emerge from this cycle of violence or spiral further into division and conflict. Zemedkun, your words reflect a deep understanding of Ethiopia's complex and painful history, acknowledging the cyclical patterns of oppression, ethnic division, and the devastating consequences of ordinary people. I don't watch and follow the entire advocacy you are trying to achieve, but this video resonates in me a lot. The suffering of Amharas, Tigrayans, Oromos, and all ethnic groups caught in this whirlwind of power struggles, displacement, and violence cannot be overstated. Yet, as you aptly noted, time will come when justice must prevail. The weight of historical oppression cannot continue indefinitely, and change is an inevitable force, even if it takes time to manifest. Yes, Fano is the future. It's being tested on the ground. Its own internal division are taking longer. The key point you make is the importance of accountability and forgiveness for the future Oromos while facing their own challenges. Should not be blind to the suffering of others, just as no ethnic group should be punished collectively for the action of the few. The cycle of hate, ethnic dominance, and injustice can only be broken through a commitment to mutual understanding, compassion, and shared responsibility. As for those who have perpetuated violence in the name of religion, whether through radicalism in the form of Wahhabism, extremist evangelism, or any form of violent ideological push. Your warning is poignant. Religion, which once served as a unifying force for Ethiopia's diverse peoples, should never become a tool for destruction. The true spiritual teachings of Islam and Christianity are grounded in peace and respect for one another, and any departure from these principles is a betrayal of the shared values that Ethiopians have held for centuries. The situation you describe, where people are displaced, persecuted, and even killed for simple belonging to different ethnic or religious group, is a tragedy that must be confronted head-on. The oppressed of it today, whether Oromos, Amharas, Tigrayans, or any other, must stand together and choose peace over vengeance, justice over retribution. It is essential that those who have suffered the most do not perpetuate the cycle of harm, but instead seek to build a just society that transcends the ethnic division that have so long plagued in the nation. Remember, what Oromo does today affects Oromos tomorrow. The rise of Fano and other forces calling for Ethiopia's dignity and justice could represent a turning point. But as you mentioned, they too must be vigilant against the forces of corruption and foreign interference that may seek to undermine their purpose. They must be clear in their mission to restore Ethiopia's unity and dignity, free from the weight of ethnic-driven hatred and justice. The message of harmony, equality, peace, and justice is one that must resonate across Ethiopia's borders, from Addis Ababa to Walaga, Benishangul to Sidama, Jima, and beyond. The journey ahead on will not be easy, and the path to healing will require great courage and wisdom. But as you rightly point out, time will come when Ethiopia will either rise from this chaos or descend further into fragmentation. Yes, you said you are Otu, not Amhara, but stepping up for the right cause. The decision you made now, you said, by every Ethiopian will determine which path is taken. We shared that. Your call to stand beside the oppressed, to act with justice in mind, and to choose peace despite the deep winds of the past is both timely and necessary. The hour for reckoning may be near, but it is in the choices we make today that the future Ethiopia will be shaped. Let's choose wisely. This is a deep and critical analysis of Ethiopian unfolding political landscape. The cycle of historical grievances, power shifts, and collective blame is a dangerous pattern that continues to engulf different groups at different times. Your concern for Oromo people's future is justified. When power is wielded recklessly under a particular ethnic banner, history has shown that the backlash often targets the ordinary people rather than the political elite who orchestrated the operation. We see Tigrayans now suffering under mud. Tigrayans used to be having all the gold and luxury under TPLF era. Look at them where they are. They're suffering. Amharas too, for 100 years, suffered. So now, let's focus on the future of Oromos in the post-prosperity era. Let's take a look at the historical precedents. As you noted, Amharas are now suffering because Menelik II is still used as a scapegoat, just as Tigrayans are suffering now because of TPLF's actions. If the Prosperity Party (PPP) regime falls, while being perceived as an Oromo government, the same fate may await Oromos who had no say in the administrations. oppressive policies. The stories of people being slaughtered, pregnant women thrown into fire, exploded like a bomb, pregnant women opened and a live fetus taken out and then consumed by soldiers. So many atrocities are being committed in a land said to be for Oromo by Oromos. Nobody says it's Oromos, but the particular factions in Oromos, enforced by the Prosperity Party, are to blame. Backlash and reckoning. Many Ethiopians, especially those enduring war, displacement, and systematic oppression today, may eventually seek a retribution. When the tide shifts, who will take responsibility for the current regime's actions? If Oromos as a collective are blamed, it could lead to targeted reprisals, marginalization, and historical revisionism. Are you going to cry then? The same way the Tigrayans, the Amaras, ordinary people crying? Who will listen to you? Who will hear you? So you must choose as an Oromo. Erosion of Gada. The Gada system, once revered for its democratic and inclusive principles, may suffer irreparable damage due to its association with an oppressive and exclusivist regime. If Oromo elites continue down this path, persecuting Orthodox Christianity while sheltering radical Islamist, Wahhabism, and extremist evangelical forces, then the Oromo name itself may become synonymous with sectarianism and tyranny in the eye of future generations. What must be done? 1. Decent Oromos must rise. Those who see the bigger picture beyond ethnic vengeance and domination must speak up and actively resist the policies that are fueling division, oppression, and religious persecution. Silence now will be complicity in the suffering of future Oromos generation. Remember, today's Oromo is shaping the future Oromo in a negative way. Number 2, avoiding collective blame. Just as not all Amharas are Menelik's second, and not all Tigrayans are TPLF, not all Oromos should bear the weight of Prosperity Party's crimes. The narrative must be shaped early to distinguish the ruling elite from the ordinary people. 3. Building cross-ethnic alliances. The best protection against future backlash is ensuring that Oromos are seen as allies in the fight against tyranny rather than its primary beneficiaries. Voices from all ethnic groups, including Amharas, must highlight the diversity of thought within the Oromo community. 4. Preventing religious radicalization. The persecution of Orthodox Christianity while harboring radical Wahhabism and extremist evangelical groups could radically alter Ethiopia's religious balance, turning Oromia into a battleground between competing ideologies. This could fracture Oromo unity itself, as moderate and traditional Oromos may resist such transformations. Number 5. Accountability before the fall. If Oromos in power today believe they can act with impunity, they are mistaken. The collapse of regimes has always been brutal in Ethiopia. If today's Oromos elite fail to self-correct, they will not only lose power violently, but also put millions of ordinary Oromo at risk. Yes, they might stretch and celebrate Gada at Red Sea. But what then? What happens when the sword turns? Will Oromos face ethnic purge? Will Geda survive as a respected system? Will the country fragment further, with Oromia isolated and vulnerable? Will Oromos become the next scapegoats of Ethiopia's vicious political cycle? The answers depend on what is done today. The wise will act now before the tide turns. A special thank you for Diakon Zemedkun, and we appreciate your activism on this regard. Thank you very much. This is Abebe on behalf of Ethiopian Hearts for Peace. One more. This is a call to advocate for a united, peaceful Ethiopia. We are embarking on a powerful journey to find individuals who share the same vision, to advocate for a united, peaceful Ethiopia. This advocacy will not be driven by financial gain, for the true payment will come in the form of a united Ethiopia, where no more lives are lost, no more atrocities are committed, and where peace reigns for all. I want to take a moment again to express special gratitude to Diakon Zemedkun, whose vision on this particular video and commitment to those causes are deeply appreciated. His voice and the message he shares in this video are a beacon for the future of Ethiopia, a future where justice, equality, and peace are the foundation of our society. Let us stand together without expectation of reward, so to see that Ethiopia is restored to a place of unity and peace, free from the cycle of violence and division that have plagued us for so long. Our true reward will be the peaceful, prosperous Ethiopia that our children and grandchildren will inherit, a country where all people live in harmony, regardless of their ethnic background, beliefs, or past struggles. Again, thank you very much for listening this long 22 minutes or more of video series.